Hi, I'm Craig Timmermans. I'm the inventor of Events Wearables. So today we're going to do a quick demonstration on the technology. So what I invented was a cloud-based server that basically everything is communicated either via the web or we can have an actual server right at your event. What brought on this technology is we put on a major music festival known as Manitoulin Country Fest. We have our own beer garden and we lost considerable money, basically slippage through tickets and other technology. So I researched on the internet to see if there was a solution. RFID was out there. I looked at the technology, I basically broke it down, tore it apart, looked at it more. What I found with it wasn't very secure, lots of problems with it, slow, very expensive, and very proprietary equipment. So what I wanted was a very simple system that was cross-platform, so it didn't matter if you had an iPhone, an Android phone, an old laptop. Even new barcode scanners now today have built-in computers so that they can actually process a web page. So I wanted it very, very simple. So I invented a technology that uses a barcode that you get printed on a wristband. The company that we used was MedTech Wristbands, and basically what we did was I sent them a list of barcodes that were alphanumeric, 8 characters long, in an Excel spreadsheet. So I basically sent them, I want 5,000 wristbands, so there'll be 5,000 unique addresses. And what they did was they printed up a wristband for me, so they were very inexpensive. And I could get on here a sponsor that can also sponsor this, and you could put their logo in the corner. So you would actually make money on the wristbands as well. So what we're going to do is a run through in a few minutes. So basically it's a web page that you go to, and if I can have my assistant. So we're going to run through a quick process here of how the system works. So a patron would come up, and this is where we would actually load the wristband. So what we're going to do is a quick test here on the wristband technology. So I have a wristband here, and I scan it into the system. So now you can see that it's asking me if it's legal age verified or general entry. So a general entry means that you could load this wristband with cash and use it at any of the vendors or to buy merch, and you don't have to be a legal drinking age. But in this case, we're going to go through the legal drinking age component of it. So we'll hit legal drinking age, and on this screen here is where we could actually look up the database. So if you've already sold tickets to this event, we can pull in all the data, or we can have the option of scanning a driver's license to verify their drinking age. But in this case, we're just going to do a manual system. So can I have your name, please?
Susan Jones.
And the last name Jones. Okay, can I have your postal code, please?
POP 1KO.
And female. And your date of birth, please?
February 24th, 1981.
And how much would you like to load on your wristband, ma'am?
$40.
$40, okay. So at this point, what I can do is take her credit card. And we have basically a regular terminal, so this could be your terminal, and you would process a credit card transaction, and once it's approved for $40, we give the card back and the receipt, and we basically come to here and we're just going to go add record. So now this wristband has been authorized for $40 for Susan at that postal code. Shows her birth date. So now we'll put the wristband on Susan. Now you'll notice on the wristbands that they're void if removed. And the reason why we put that on is because if this patron takes the wristband off, it becomes null and void. And the reason why we do that, so if she takes this wristband off and tries to give it to a minor, because her drinking age has been verified, so normally I would basically ask her for a driver's license just to verify her age if it was questionable. So now what we're going to do is, now this wristband is loaded with $40. And we'll go now to the beer garden and do a purchase. So we're here at the beer garden, and basically the bartender will have a terminal, and there'll be a second terminal that'll actually face the patron. And the advantage of this is, so we SKU everything. So we create a barcode and a SKU for all of the products that we're selling at this event. And the reason why I do that is so that we know exactly how many Canadian are sold, how many Coors Light are sold, so on and so forth. The other thing is there's huge marketing capabilities from this. So now we can go to Molson's and say, these postal codes, female, this age group, mostly bought Coors Light. And also for the next year when we have the event, we can actually better have an idea on how much quantities of different products that we know, because we'll know from the sales. So we'll run through. So what kind of drink would you like to have?
Coors Light, please.
So a Coors Light. So it shows Coors Light, but you changed your mind. What if you wanted a Palm Bay instead?
Oh, actually, can I have a Palm Bay instead?
So we can reset it. It resets back, so if there was a mistake made, and we want a Palm Bay. So Palm Bay, and then now I scan her wristband. So she had a $40 balance, one Palm Bay, and she has a remaining balance of $35. So the patron always sees this and knows exactly what they purchased. The other thing with this system is I can't scan twice and double bill them. You have to always scan a drink and then scan the wristband, one transaction at a time. That's a safety feature so that the patron doesn't get double billed. It also makes the process, a little bit more streamlined, that it has a better inventory control. So again, we'll run it through one more time. We'll pick a different product, which is a different dollar value. So the cider is $7 instead of $5. We'll scan the wristband. And so now her beginning balance was $35, and now it is $28. And it shows what she bought. Now, phase 2 of this technology is I'm going to basically incorporate a smartphone. So if a patron wants to know how much money they have left on their wristband and they don't remember, they could always come back to a terminal and you could scan it, and you see that Susan Jones of this birth date has $28 remaining on her wristband. So phase 2 of this technology, being cross-platform, is she can actually use her iPhone or an Android. We will create an app. It basically just goes to a website, and she can scan her wristband and find out what her balance is, so she doesn't have to worry about it. Or if her balance is getting low, she doesn't have to leave the beer garden and come back to a loading station. She can actually self-load. So the second phase is building an app that will tie your bank account in, and you can do an online transaction. And you basically self-load your wristband. So that even speeds up the process more. So they can just stay in the beer garden and enjoy better profits for you. Another feature that I have is each workstation has its own unique login. And the reason why I did that was so that Terminal 1 for loading the wristband could be at venue entrance A, and another terminal could be at venue entrance B. So you know what terminals loaded those wristbands. You also know, because the beer gardens have a unique login, you also know that what server actually sold which products. The other feature that I didn't show you, when the patron buys, and you can set your own threshold, say more than 5 or 6 beer. So you set a threshold for 6 beer. When that patron comes back to buy a beer, it'll actually let the bartender know that you've already served this person 6 beer. Because they could have went to multiple beer gardens and bought multiple types of beer, but at least it notifies you. So the bartender can actually look at the patron and say, are they impaired, or is it just they were serving their friends or buying a beer for their friends? It's another checkpoint. It saves yourself for liability. And speaking of liability, the other thing that we realize having an outdoor venue is because everything is time and date stamped. So if a patron goes out into a camping area, they're partying, they're drinking their own alcohol, they come into your venue either before or after the beer garden, they get impaired and there's an issue that arises, you can pull a database on that wristband or that person's name, you can research it, and it'll tell you exactly what beer they bought at what time, and you can determine that if they were overserved, if it was a liability issue for you, or was it because they served themselves additional beer or alcohol after the event at their own campsite. So there is a lot of reporting within the engine. Great value to anybody that has an outdoor festival. I hope you enjoyed it, and looking forward to speaking to you more and showing you more about the technology and new directions that we're going with with the Android and iPhone technology built in. Thank you.